Hello. Today's review, as you can see, is Resident Evil 7. And do I recommend it? I mean, there's no giant, tall, big-tittied vampire ladies in it, but like, as long as you don't got heart problems and you really like scary games, well, absolutely, all day long and absolutely all night long, I recommend it. Thanks to the DLCs, there are a ton of modes available and extensions to the story. Uh, However, Jack's 55th birthday and Ethan Must Die are actually not available in VR, so I will not be reviewing those two bits. Um, but other than that, let's get into it. I felt it might be a little appropriate to start with the campaign. So you are a dude named Ethan, and your ex-wife, or technically still wife, Mia, had, I believe, emailed a video explaining, come down to the Baker Mansion at, I can't remember what the address was, and, come see me, and we can be together and love each other, and so it's a lovely mansion. It's kind of rickety, but it's nice. So anyway, you came on down, you saw the lovely house, and you were like, yeah, let's go rescue our wife. Almost immediately, things get a little, sus. Almost immediately, things get very, very sus. Um, just on a personal note, this is just a character break here for a second on David the person here. I'm single right now, but if I ever have like a wife, fiance, or girlfriend, and she's like, come on down, and like I come on down and I see this, you can go fuck yourself. So, after a bit of an orange flag and a bit of a absolutely crimson flag, you decide to do some investigating. So glad. Again, a personal note here from David the person that smell-o-vision is not a damn thing. Anyway, after some investigating, you actually find your wife. So after a bunch of crimson red flags and some sturdy investigation,
welcome to the family, son.
things go real sour. But that's enough of the main story. I don't want to spoil too much, even though it is an old game. The one thing I will say though, my biggest issue with the campaign is that by the end it kind of turns more into like an action game than a survival horror that you can fight back in. But the inventory management, as always in a Resident Evil, is all too fucking real. But long story short, the lost footage DLCs here are the next bit that I was going to review, and I figure we'll start with the prequel, where it all began. So, the DLC starts with you watching the news. I skipped over that because it was kind of boring. And finding poor little Evie. So, before long, things go a little, not right.
It's a whole lot worse than it looks. Cleanliness is next to godliness.
And suddenly things get real bad.
I have to show her how to hold.
And understandably, like Ethan, Zoe needs to get the fuck out of here. Once things have gone bad, though, it becomes a bit of a stealth mission. If you're caught, that's just it. Oh, fuck. But that's all I can really show about Daughters, because it's a really short DLC. It's a ton of fun. It's really creepy and eerie along the way and stuff, and Evie is just unsettling like all children in horror. But, let's reduce the escape the house down to escape the bedroom with bedroom. So you start out in a nice little dark room, struggling against some sort of binding before Margaret shows up.
Sleep well, darling?
Hey there, Margie
Margot
Poo.
really likes you. She wants you.
And if you piss her off too much, she'll spew bugs at you. And in the firstest of persons, it's really, really not what you
I
want.
gotta do something.
So after escaping your bed, you have an assortment of items, including this lantern that I stole from that, to deal with and decipher. All sorts of little puzzles to get the fuck out of here. Because Margaret's probably one of my least favorite because of the bugs. The bugs are so gross. But that's basically the long and short of it, aside from if you make noise, like that clock did, then she'll bust in the room, and if everything isn't put back to the best of your ability, from what you can remember, and she notices one little thing out of place, then she'll freak the fuck out and send some bugs after you and spit them up or choke you out with them, or... I forgot to actually set a sort of like little transition here, but that's enough of that because it's a really basic concept, escape the room. Anyway, here is another basic concept, 21. So, playing a typical game of blackjack with a slightly messed up deck that actually only I think goes up to like 10 or 12, and there are 0 repeats in cards. And you go through an assortment of just crazy jigsaw style-esque traps along the way, because apparently Lucas was really into John Kramer. And like Lucas said, if you lose, you lose. So yeah, the method in which he tortures us gets a little more elaborate each time. Alright, because this review has been going on more than long enough, a little bit of a lightning round here. Nightmare is a horde mode I definitely recommend. Even though it's not like a Call of Duty thing, it is definitely interesting in its own right. You get scrap metal from these random machines scattered throughout the level. You use the scrap metal to buy upgrades and weaponry and ammo, and survive until the morning. Not a Hero is Chris's story, and is a continuation of like kind of the end of the game, where it gets to be more of an action adventure horror more than like an actual survival horror. Chris is relatively well equipped and trained as a Umbrella soldier and mercenary, so yeah, it's just really actiony. It's not all that horror-y, and I still recommend it though. It's still an interesting bit of story as you fight through Lucas's traps. And End of Zoe is where it really just kind of lost the plot. As you can see from the image here, she has some sort of crystalline lining along her skin, and her uncle, who's the one carrying her, kind of loses his shit, beats up a Umbrella soldier who could have actually helped her, thus pretty much damning her, and then goes around punching zombies and alligators for a nice little while. It's kind of like the fever dream of Resident Evil, and in that regards I kind of recommend it, but ultimately if you were not really into that, like I wasn't, I don't really blame you, because it's not quite what we were here for. Everything else though I absolutely recommend. Hope you enjoyed, and have yourself a good one.